First contact was peaceful, until the Terran Warship Decloaked. The Galactic Council chamber floated in the void between stars, a masterwork of crystalline architecture that had witnessed 1,000 first contacts over 3 millennia. Ambassador Velthor of the Kryn Collective stood at the central podium, his 6 eyes gleaming with satisfaction as he observed the small delegation of humans seated in the newcomers' gallery. They looked so ordinary. Bipedal, soft-skinned, with only 2 eyes and no natural weaponry to speak of. Their vessel, the Harmony, was a modest diplomatic courier that had transmitted friendship codes the moment it entered Council space. Perfect subjects for integration into the lower administrative castes. The Council recognizes the Terran delegation, Velthor announced, his translator converting his chittering speech into galactic standard. You have traveled far to join our civilization. We welcome you with open appendages. Captain Sarah Chen rose from her seat, her crisp white uniform adorned with minimal decoration. She was flanked by 2 advisors, both appearing equally unimpressive to the assembled species. Thank you, Ambassador Velthor, she said, her voice steady. Humanity is honored to make contact with the Galactic Council. We come in peace, seeking friendship and mutual cooperation. A ripple of what might have been amusement passed through the chamber. The Kryn had perfected the art of peaceful subjugation centuries ago. They would offer the humans membership, accept their resources and labor, and in return provide protection from the dangerous galaxy. It was a transaction that had worked flawlessly with 47 other species. Your enthusiasm is noted, Velthor replied. However, Council membership requires certain obligations. Your species will need to surrender your fleet for decommissioning, as the Council provides all necessary defense. You will also need to accept our resource management protocols and social integration programs. Sarah's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. I see. And if we decline these terms? Then you remain unprotected, Velthor said smoothly. The galaxy is dangerous for those without the Council's shield. Pirate clans, rogue AI collectives, the void swarms, many threats exist for the unaligned. How many of the Council's member species joined willingly under these exact terms? Sarah asked. All of them, Velthor said, which was technically true. They had all chosen servitude over destruction. It is the natural order. Advanced species like the Kryn guide younger races toward prosperity. Sarah nodded slowly. I need to confer with my government. May we have 6 hours to consider? Of course. Velthor's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. They always asked for time. It never changed the outcome. 5 hours and 43 minutes later, alarms shrieked across every Council vessel in the system. Admiral Marcus Webb sat in the command chair of the TCS Righteous Fury, watching the tactical display with grim satisfaction. The Dreadnought's cloaking field had held perfectly for the 3 weeks it had shadowed the Harmony to this location. Now, as the field collapsed, the ship's true nature became apparent to every scanner in the system. The Righteous Fury was 8 kilometers of weaponized human stubbornness. Its hull bristled with rail cannons, missile pods, and directed energy weapons that would make the Council's defensive fleet look like children's toys. But more than that, it was a statement: humanity had entered the galactic stage, but not on their knees. Admiral, we're receiving panic transmissions from the Council fleet, his communications officer reported. They're demanding to know our intentions. Let them wait, Webb said. Maintain weapons lock on their command ship, but do not fire. This is Captain Chen's show. In the Council chamber, Velthor's 6 eyes were wide with shock as holographic displays showed the impossible warship hanging in space like a dagger aimed at their heart. You deceived us, he sputtered. Sarah Chen's pleasant diplomatic smile had been replaced with something harder. No, Ambassador. We simply didn't tell you everything. Much like you failed to mention that Council membership is another term for vassalage. That ship could destroy our entire defensive fleet. Yes, Sarah agreed. It could. It won't, because we truly do come in peace. But here's what you need to understand about humanity, Ambassador. We've fought wars on our homeworld that would make your mandibles fall off. We've survived ice ages, plagues, asteroid impacts, and our own worst impulses. We've clawed our way up from caves to the stars through sheer bloody-minded determination. She leaned forward, her hands flat on the podium. So when we say we come in peace, we mean it. But when we say we come in peace, we don't mean we come defenseless. We don't mean we'll surrender our sovereignty to avoid conflict. We mean we'd prefer peace, but we're prepared for the alternative. Velthor's translator struggled with the nuances of her tone, the steel beneath the velvet. What do you want?" he asked. "Equal partnership," Sarah said. "We'll share our technology, our resources, our knowledge. We'll stand alongside the Council against genuine threats. But we do so as equals, not subjects. Our ships stay under our command. Our worlds stay under our governance. Take it or leave it." "And if we refuse?" Velthor asked, though his voice had lost its earlier confidence. Sarah glanced at a data pad. "Then we leave peacefully. We'll establish our own sphere of influence and wish you well. Though I notice that 3 of your member species have already sent us covert messages asking about our terms for alternative arrangements." The chamber fell silent. The Kryn had built an empire on the assumption that younger species would always choose survival over dignity. They had never encountered a species that refused to make that choice. Velthor looked at the hologram of the righteous Fury, then back at the unassuming human standing before him. "The Council will need to deliberate," he said finally. "Of course," Sarah replied, her diplomatic smile returning. "Take all the time you need. We'll be right here." Both ships. As the Council members filed out in confused clusters, Admiral Webb's voice crackled over Sarah's secure comm. "How'd it go, Captain?" Sarah allowed herself a genuine smile. "I think they're beginning to understand, Admiral. First contact was peaceful. Let's make sure it stays that way." "Copy that," Webb replied. "Though I have to say, the view from up here is pretty convincing." Through the chamber's transparent walls, the righteous Fury hung against the stars like a promise and a warning. Humanity had arrived, and they were nobody's servants. The galaxy would have to make room.